一、危险不在于外邦，而在于假冒属灵权威的人。摩西与加尔文首先指出，真正的威胁不是来自外邦宗教，而是来自百姓中间那些披着先知与教师外衣，自称代表神的人。这些人以看似敬虔、合理的言语迷惑人，因此神的百姓必须学会分辨，不能对任何自称属灵权威的人不加判断地听从。The danger lies not in pagans, but in false spiritual authorities. Moses and Calvin first identify the true threat not as pagan religion, but as those arising from among the people who cloak themselves with the title of prophet or teacher and claim to speak for God. Because such persons deceive with a plausible and pious appearance, God's people must learn discernment and refuse to listen indiscriminately to all who claim spiritual authority. 二、刑罚针对的是被盗，而不是单纯的教义错误。接着，加尔文明确限定刑罚的范围，神并非要处置一切错误的教导，而是要对付那些引导百姓离开真神敬拜，成为被盗始作俑者的人。问题的核心不在于错误的存在，而在于是否从根基上颠覆对神的忠诚。The punishment targets apostasy, not mere doctrinal error. Calvin sharply restricts the scope of punishment. God does not aim to condemn every mistaken teaching, but to judge those who lead the people away from the worship of the true God, and thus become the authors of apostasy. The decisive issue is not the existence of error, but the overthrow of loyalty to God at its foundation. 三、严厉的前提是真理已被神清楚显明。这样的严厉只适用在神已经借着救赎与律法充分显明自己之后。以色列人既经历出埃及的神迹，又领受清楚的律法教导，因此在引人离开神，不再是出于无知，而是对已知真理的公然悖逆。Severity presupposes truth clearly revealed by God. Such severity applies only after God has fully revealed himself through redemption and the law. Since Israel had experienced the Exodus and received clear instruction, leading the people away from God could no longer be excused as ignorance, but constituted open rebellion against known truth. 四、神的真理不依靠刀剑，却可使用官杖。加尔文承认，真理本身不需要武力来维系。然而他同时坚决指出，人无权限制神的作为。既然神使用官杖惩治偷盗、奸淫与毒害，也同样有权使用官杖维护敬拜与信仰的根基。God's truth does not depend on the sword, yet God may use magistrates. Calvin acknowledges that truth itself does not rely on force, yet he firmly insists that humans have no authority to restrict God's actions. Just as God uses magistrates to punish theft, adultery, and poisoning, he may also use them to guard worship and the foundations of faith. 五、基督的国属灵，但未废除官长的责任。最后，加尔文把这一原则放入福音时代来看，基督的国度确实不属世界。福音起初也不是靠刀棍剑掌在归服基督之后，就可以对破坏敬拜与引人灭亡的事袖手旁观。Christ's kingdom is spiritual, yet magistrates' duty is not abolished. Finally, Calvin applies this principle to the gospel age. Christ's kingdom is indeed not of this world, and the gospel was not first advanced by the sword. Nevertheless, this does not mean that magistrates, once subject to Christ, may stand idle when worship is corrupted and souls are led toward destruction. 六、一切行动必须受神话语与合法审查的约束。整个论证的结尾不是鼓动暴力，而是设下界限。任何刑罚与行动都必须建立在神清楚话语的定罪之上。没有审查的热心只会变成错误的拔刀。All action must be restrained by God's word and lawful examination. The argument concludes not by promoting violence, but by establishing boundaries. Any punishment or action must rest upon the clear condemnation of God's word and follow lawful examination. Zeal without examination inevitably becomes misguided violence.